All right. What's happening, everyone? Thanks so much for tuning in to the latest Start Talk. We are going global to the other side of the planet where I have the one and only Jackson, RockStar Parr, calling in. What's up, dude?
How you doing?
Good, man. Hey, that hair is looking fresh tonight.
Do I look at you or the camera? I never know what to do.
Just look at me. That's fine.
I'll look at you.
Because it's kind of awkward if you look at the camera. It's just really awkward.
It's like my hands start to come up.
Yeah, no, that's good. You look good. Perfect. So I just want to thank everybody for joining the Start Talk. We've got lots and lots of viewers tuning in from all around the world. And we started these a couple months back. We really like to just allow this to be kind of a Q&A to get into some of the Start ambassadors' heads, so that you guys can ask them questions. We post the Start Talk threads on the Facebook page and just allow you to ask any questions you have. And then we'll kind of address the most common and best ones to ambassadors around the world. And we host these every the first Monday of every month. So here we are, the 4th of May, the 5th of May if you're in Oz. And so I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. So Jackson, where are you at in the world right now?
I am on the beautiful Gold Coast in Australia. I was in New Zealand for a week, so I just got back yesterday, I think, or the day before. So I was down there with all the Kiwis, as you say. And yeah, so that was amazing. But now I'm back on the Gold Coast waiting for David Woods to come down.
Oh, that's awesome, man. How many events did you do that down there in Kiwi land?
We did 3 opportunity meetings in a row. So I was there for 4 nights and we did 3 opportunity meetings. It was awesome. It was freaking awesome.
Good, awesome.
Yep.
So, all right, so we got some good questions for you tonight. You ready for these bad boys?
Give it to me.
Okay, so you've been in Isagenix for what? Almost 2 years now, right?
Yep, 20 months.
Okay, awesome. And so 20 months, and not a whole lot of people know this, but you are actually you're what? You're 26 or 7?
I am 27.
Okay, 27 years old, and you became, in 12 months' time, you became the fastest to ever max out a business center under the age of 30, doing that in 12 months. No big deal. Pretty impressive.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah.
It's awesome, man. So, I mean, it's just such an example of showing us what's possible. And I just kind of want to start off by asking you, Jillian Klein actually asked a question on the Facebook page. So, Jillian, thanks so much for the question. And what she kind of wanted to know was, for whoever introduced you to Isagenix, and who first introduced you to Isagenix?
Well, who enrolled me was Kylie Donaldson.
Okay.
Yeah, but who introduced me to it first is a different person.
Okay. So yeah. What was the conversation that Kylie had or this other person that, kind of sparked your interest? Because regardless of age demographic, people are always wanting to know, what was it that somebody said to you that really kind of sparked that plug in you that got you fired up to really do this as a business and, max out your business in 12 months and just create this extraordinary life? What was it that, made you say, okay, I want to do this. I'm going full out 100%.
Well, to me, the real answer is timing, because Isagenix was introduced to me 4 years ago, and it was I played basketball in America for 6 years, so it was our athletic strength and conditioning coach, and so I respect him more than anyone with his knowledge. Yet even when he was telling me about it, because of the timing and because where I was at in my headspace, I was just like, whatever, scam, don't want to look at it, things like that. But 20 months ago, when Kylie showed it to me, I was looking for something. I was very unhappy and desperate. And even though I didn't understand the law of attraction and manifestation and all that stuff back then, I think I was doing that without knowing it, because I was always wishing for something and praying for something. And, you know, I had decided, even though I didn't know what I was looking for, I decided that I wanted something more. So I think it's timing, because if you compare like Kylie to Levi, like I trusted Levi more, I knew Levi more, Levi had more credentials, everything like that. But because of the timing, I said no to Levi, but yes to Kylie. Yeah, so I went to a launch party with Kylie. She was she owned the CrossFit box that I was working out at. So that was how I knew Kylie. So I didn't really know her, but I went there, saw the products, and I was like, money back guarantee. I'm not one of those, my girlfriend pays me out. I have everything. I've got juices, I've got bread makers, because I just try anything. And when I saw the money back guarantee, I tried it. And then once I understood the business, I saw it as, I didn't see it as this long-term thing. I saw it as, wow, I could make $1,000 or something out of this. Because I didn't understand the residual income aspect. I just understood, I might be able to sign up a few people, earn, some money to go out on a Friday night, and that's really it. And slowly I understood more and more. But to go back to the question, I think it is timing, and that's what I find with other people as well. That if Carmen Rumsey has taught me that timing's everything. And looking back, I think that's what the difference was for me personally.
I hope everybody's really catching the gold in everything that you just said, because it's kind of like so many people, and we see it all the time. It's like if they approach somebody and they get a no from somebody, and they had their hopes up like this was, this person may say yes, and they get all frustrated and down because they think like they may have said something wrong, or they just become frustrated, when really it has nothing to do with what they said or what they did, or basically the timing that you were in your life. There was nothing that anybody could have said any differently to get you involved at that time. You just weren't ready. And so, but 2 years down the track, because Kylie approached you and you were ready and it was the right time, you were open and you said yes. So I really want everybody to really grasp that because sometimes we get so in our head about when somebody.
Can I tell this story, Cooper?
Yeah, go for it.
So I told this at Superstar. I was in New Zealand a different time a few months ago, and I had to go I flew from Auckland to Gold Coast, and the next day, I think I had to fly from the Gold Coast to Sydney. So on the way back, flying from Auckland to Gold Coast, I always sit in the exit row, and I sat next to this couple, and for the first half an hour, I was just into them, finding out about them. Half an hour passes by, I finally let them ask questions about me. So I share a bit about me, share what I do, what Isagenix is, how it can help them, and they signed up. Easy. Then the next day I fly from Gold Coast to Sydney. Same thing, I'm in the exit row. I sit next to a couple. First 30, 40 minutes, I'm just into them, finding out about them, building that rapport. And then after about half an hour, I let them start asking about me, share a little bit about me, share what I do, share how it can help them. And they didn't sign up. And I always use that example because I didn't do anything right or wrong. I did the exact same thing, but it was about them. The first couple, they were ready. The second couple, they weren't, and maybe they've signed up now, or maybe they never will. But it's exactly right. A lot of people would have, speaking to that couple flying from Gold Coast to Sydney, they would have went, "Oh, I said something wrong, or I screwed it up, or I'm not good at this." When really it has nothing to do. We can always get a little bit better, learn how to build rapport and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's all about them. So I always remind myself of that example as well, that I did the exact same thing like within 24 hours, yet one couple were ready, all because of them and their life and what's going on for them, and the other couple weren't. But it's a big thing. I see people beat themselves up, or they take it so personal when really it's not at all.
Yeah, I mean that's beautiful. I love that, and it's the truth. I mean, it's the truth though, because so many times we go out and we say, and like we could be so articulate in what we say, or whatever, maybe not, and we think that because that person said no, oh well, I have to change my pitch somehow, or I must have said something wrong, and we get down on ourselves, and that forces us to not take action the next day because we just think that we're saying things wrong. And so when in reality, it has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do where the person is in their life and the timing. But one key thing that I think that you're saying also that you did though is, you didn't just meet this couple and say, well, I'm Jackson and this is what I do. And, it was all about Isogenics. You became very, very interested in them, found out everything about them. And then, hey, if they were going to ask, it just became natural for them to start asking you questions about you because they want to become interested in you and reciprocate that process. And then you start telling them about Isogenics. So I think that's the key is as David Wood says, focus on being interested, not interesting.
Yep. And I always say the one thing I did do right is I spoke to them, whereas without a doubt before Isogenics, this would be me on the plane listening to music. I'm not talking to no strangers. There's no way. And there's probably a lot of people that feel this way now. It's like I'm salivating, like, who am I going to speak? Who am I going to sit next to? When I flew back from Auckland, I couldn't wait to finally meet someone that I didn't know and chat to them. And it's crazy how, 21 months ago, I would have been not even making eye contact, listen to music. So, So that's the big thing I think I did right was I went with the intention to find out who these people were that I'm sitting next to. If it's for them, great. Let me show you how. If it's not, no worries. I've probably made some new friends. So, the big thing is that you've got to have the conversation in the first place.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you got to have the conversation. And one of the best stories in Isogenics is when Janny Elo was sitting next to a lady by the name of Kelly Dickerhoof on the plane, and Janny started talking to Kelly about, what she was doing and stuff like that. And Janny ended up enrolling Kelly Dickerhoof, and now Kelly Dickerhoof is the #1 income earner in all of Start. So
I did not know that story. That is freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean, so Janny Elo literally enrolled Kelly on a plane, and so you just never know who you're sitting next to on a plane. I've even heard that Kirk Metz, one of our top 25 income earners, he like purposely gets a middle seat on airplanes so that he has 2 people to talk to like increases his chances.
Wow, I like that. I know whenever I fly, like me and Alan fly lots together, and we're like, I'll see you when we touch down because we book, even though we're booking together, we'll go separate parts of the plane.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Those are good stories.
No, that's so cool. So moving on to the next one. Let's say somebody is like, you've got somebody that's interested in building an Isogenics business. They're saying, hey, all right, you like, let's say you just got me started in Isogenics, and I just started on a President's Pack or whatever. And I say, yeah, I want to do the Isogenics business. All right, Jackson, kind of tell me what to do. What are your kind of first steps, 1, 2, 3, on how to really get somebody started for success and really plugged in?
Okay. What do I do? Well, I guess first I've got to know, because a lot of people will tell you, hey, I want to make money, or hey, I want to do this and things like that. But even though they're all saying the same thing, their actions are far apart. So I like to, like your mum's, the Kathy Coover enrollment form, where you find out, it's like those questions, how much time are they willing to invest? How much money do they want to make in X amount of months? And what are they willing to sacrifice, and things like that. So I like to kind of get that all on the table.
Real quick, that's the new associate interview that you're referring to.
Yes.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, at Top Achievers a couple days ago, we actually just launched a new tool on isogenicsbusiness.com called the New Associate Checklist, which is kind of like the new associate interview, but it's for the product user and also somebody that's interested in doing the business. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. Anybody watching, isogenicsbusiness.com, New Associate Checklist. You can find it under the Start Here button. So anyway, continue.
Very cool. Well, I might have to change my answer once I see that, but the premise is the same. I want to know how committed this person is. What do they really want? Hopefully I know their why, and if I should know it if I've enrolled them for the business, but if not, nothing happens until I really find out why they're wanting to do this. Not just, I want to make $500 a week, but why? Because I need to know their motivation. Mm-hmm. Once those are out of the way, I need to make sure they completely understand the cycles, like residual income. I really need to, to me, people need to, without a doubt, know that and understand that, because that's what gets them through the tough times at the start. If people really understand the power of this compensation plan and residual income and how it works and how this thing is going to build, then when they get those no's at first, and when people, ripping on them, or, they're being the haters that I wear, I love haters hats. When all that comes, because that happens with everyone, if they know the bigger picture, then it's easier to hang in there. Whereas I found with some people, when I really didn't get around to that first, and all they really knew was like you +2, then +2, or they knew just the PIBs, I found, looking back, they were a lot more susceptible to quitting, because I don't think I probably let them down where they didn't understand the big thing. They probably thought, well, far out, feeling these no's, and probably, that kind of pain you get when people say no, you take it personal a bit. I think at the start, they were comparing it to, is this worth $820? Right. And I think they were leaving a little bit soon, because I didn't show them the big things. So that's my next step, making sure they understand residual income, because I know it was for me when I was copying it at the start. I was not going to let anyone stop me from taking advantage of residual income. And then thirdly, it is isogenicsbusiness.com and more startyourlife.com, but I went through a patch where I would just send people there. I'd be like, because I wanted to like leverage myself. I wanted to save myself time and all that kind of stuff. So I got into this trap where I would send people there, like tell them where it is and everything like that. But that was like to the extent. And then I heard Michael Klaus use this awesome example that doing that, what I was doing was just like telling someone, hey, there's a library in town. You can go there and you can learn anything you've ever wanted to know. You can learn how to cook. You can learn how to exercise. You can do anything. All you got to do is go there. And in reality, because of human nature, no one does that. Even though that is true, any one of us can go to the library at any time and learn anything. I mean, I've never been to the library, so yeah. When he put it in that example, I was like, far out, that's what I've been doing. So now it's more of a tour guide, or I try and even go one step further. Like, if I can, I want to be in person with them when we're going through it. But if not, over Skype or anything, I'll set them certain tasks like, okay, watch this video, fill out your list. But I won't go any further than that. And I'll set up a time where I'm going to follow up with you once you've done that. So it kind of makes them do it. Whereas if you were saying, Jackson, you got to go read this book at the library and I'll call you Friday to find out what you've learned, I'm without a doubt going, because I don't want to look like I didn't do it. So that's been a big learning curve for me is not just sending people there, but taking them there, doing whatever I can to make sure they're doing it. And if I've done the steps before that, like made them understand residual income, find out why they want to do this, then I'm finding it really easy to, when I'm trying to take them to learn something or watch a video or start to talk to people, it's flowing really well.
Awesome. I love it. So you're actually giving people tasks saying, you know, I want you to go to the start here button and watch the U+2 them +2 video, and maybe think of 10 people that you think you could really share this with that are looking to lose weight, you know, make an extra $500 a month, whatever. And then I'm going to call you on, you know, I'm going to call you tomorrow at 5 p.m. and we're going to kind of discuss what you learned and who you put on your list.
Yeah, making it, I'm always trying to make it as easy as possible. And if you give people too much, then they don't do anything. A confused mind does nothing. So make it really simple and easy. And they're also feeling good, because when you give them tasks, no matter how small they are, when you do something, when you tick something off a list, it just makes you feel good and you get a little bit more confident and a little bit more confident. So we just keep it really simple because it all works. Whatever we're asking them to do through what you guys teach us, it all works. So just make it really simple and focus a lot of income producing activities at the start, because I know, who is it? Lynn Hagedorn, compensation drives behavior. Is that her? Yeah. So I know if I can help someone make any amount of money in their first 30 days, then they're wide open, wanting to learn more and do more. So that's my goal for them.
Huge. Okay. So basically you said as soon as you, just to kind of review this, when you are, let's say I'm ready to rock and roll, you're sending me the new associate checklist or new associate interview, asking me those questions, having me kind of fill out that stuff so that you can kind of hold me accountable, and so that I'm setting the parameters on my work hours, on how much I want to earn my first three months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever. Doing that. Then also obviously finding out what my why is, what's really going to drive me when I start getting some of the leaders and stuff like that. Also showing me the cycles, the power of residual income, the bigger money that can be made, really casting that vision. And then directing me, being the tour guide, directing me, not just sending me to startyourlife.com or isogenicsbusiness.com and saying go there, but actually saying, okay, go to isogenicsbusiness.com, watch these 2 videos, fill out that list, and I'm going to check back in with you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Give me perfect.
And then lastly, I'll throw on there is I really just help them and want to set the target, just speak to family and close friends, those people that would want to do, because obviously if I just signed you up, Eric, you're about to undergo a 30-day cleanse. So we just want to speak to those, that close circle of influence, family, really close friends that would trust you enough to try something risk-free, because you have that relationship. And that's because that's what I did. I think I signed up on Sunday night, and then Monday night I held a launch party, and I invited 6 close people that I knew would trust me, and 5 of them signed up, and most of them we didn't know even how to explain it well or anything like that, but they would do it because they trusted me and because they knew if they didn't like it, they could get their money back. So that's the kind of approach I try and help people at the start. Just speak to people that you really have that relationship with and trust. And that way, if they all say no, it doesn't matter, because now they're going to watch you like a hawk, and that's what you need. Whereas if no one's watching you because no one knows what you're doing, then it's a bit of an uphill battle.
Wow, that's really powerful. And I think it's amazing that you enrolled on Sunday night, got started, and then had a launch party on Monday. And I know people watching may be asking, well, what did you do to get people to that launch party? Can you just maybe talk about, like, how did you get your 5 or 6 friends to get to that launch party? Because there's probably a lot of people who watching this haven't yet done their first launch party, maybe with their close circle of influence friends or anybody. Can you just kind of talk through that?
Yeah. there's no one size fits all answer, but what I did, like there were some mates. So Samuel Davies, I think he's, oh God, I should know this. This is horrible. I think Samuel's a 4-star Golden Circle. I just went, mate, can you come round tonight? I got something to show you. It's going to be awesome. But because of our relationship, that's all he needed.
Yeah.
There was a mate, Daniel Perriman. He is 2-star. I worked at my warehouse with him. So I said, mate, you know how we keep saying how we freaking hate our jobs? Well, I think I have something that can get us out of it. So that's what I said to him. There was another one, a friend, where it was more about the health. I said, Ange, because she was one of those people, she's always, you know, we all have those friends where we know they're always trying to hit a goal. So she was one of those friends where I said, hey, I'm about to start this 30-day thing. I have no idea what it really is, but I've seen all these before and afters. I can't argue with results. I'm having an info night tomorrow night to find out a bit more. You should come round, find out, and then we can hang out afterwards. And so she came for the health side. So there's no real right answer, but it's because all these people were really close with me. I knew, or I had a good feel on what I think would be in best interest to them. And then in terms of what I did, I said, because I didn't know anything. And I said, hey guys, this is Kylie. She's going to explain what I'm doing. And I went and sat in the corner. And because I couldn't even explain something if I tried. And so I made her do all the work, which I wish, which is as up, I wish my people do that more, make me do work. And that's exactly what I made Kylie do. And 3 of those people that came became consultants within that week because they wanted the same thing. They wanted to do it with their girlfriend and their mum or their brother and their sister or whatever it was. So, that's kind of what I did.
Dude, there is just so much gold in what this is good stuff. So I'm serious. This is like aha.
You're just paid to say that. You're just paid to say that.
No, this is, so I love what you're talking about. So you're talking about inviting people to this launch party who are close to you. And again, you're just kind of, I guess, meeting what the conversations that you've already had with these people about, you said that you were working in the warehouse with one of your mates and you guys had always talked about wanting to get out of what you're doing because you hated it. Well, I finally found something that really could help with that. What are you doing tomorrow night? So you met what could excite him to your invitation. And then the person that you were talking about health with, I love what you said there about, hey, I don't know what this is, but all I know is I've seen a ton of before and after pictures. I'm not even on the products yet, but I think this is something you really need to see. I love that, what you said there. Like I've seen, because a lot of people think that they need to have this huge story, this product story in order to go talk about the products. But what you just said, hey, I don't have experience yet, but all I know is I've seen all these results, these before and afters. This is something you should take a look at because I know you're kind of always looking for something like this. So I hope everybody's picking up on that. Go ahead.
It's the best time to enroll is when you first start because it's so easy because you get to say, I don't know. It's what David Wood teaches us. But before even David Wood taught me that, I was saying that because I literally didn't know. It's now because people kind of know what I do, they want to ask a billion questions because they kind of know I should know some of the answers. But at the start, it's the best because you just get to say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And the money back guarantee changes everything because if that wasn't there was no way I would have invited anyone because, this was back when I didn't even really have belief that it would work because I hadn't even tried it myself. But because if there was no money back guarantee, there was no way I could have asked one of my mates to spend $600 because if it didn't work, I wouldn't have been able to cope with that. Like I would have been, oh my God, I just made we don't even make much money. That's why we hate our jobs. And now he's just lost $600. But because of that money back guarantee, I had no problem, and no one should have any problem with saying, let's do it together. And if for whatever reason, you don't like it, it's not for you, then we can just get you your money back. So that money back guarantee changes everything. And that's why I had confidence, and that's why everyone should have confidence at the start, because you're not promising anyone anything or anything like that. You're just saying, this is what I'm doing. And I genuinely I still didn't understand the business, so I didn't know how awesome that was. But I kind of just wanted people to do it with me as well. It's fun being on day 10 together and day 22 and having bets and talking smack talk and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
So is there anything that Kylie said to you to empower you to do your first launch party, like from when you got started on Sunday to Monday, like when you did the launch party? Did she actually empower you to do that?
No, I said, hey, can you do one of these for me tomorrow? I think, I'm not too sure, but I think like the launch party I went to for Kylie's was the first one she's ever done. So, and it was easy. Like, she played 2 videos and that was really it. And she had a display and there were samples. So I was like, and that's what the whole thing is designed around. I was like, I can freaking do this. I mean, and more importantly, you can freaking do this at my house. So she was really nervous. I know she was, but I pushed her way out of comfort zone, because I think it was out of her comfort zone to even hold one on her own. And then I'm like, you do this tomorrow night at my house in front of all my friends. But no, she didn't really say anything. I just said, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, well, there's just so much good stuff in this story, because like you said, all she did is play 2 videos. She didn't sound like she didn't really know what she was doing. She had a display, maybe cut up some samples, played 2 videos, didn't pretend like she knew it all. And obviously it was enough to ignite, yourself, the 2 people that you mentioned, they're obviously having amazing success. So because you sat there and said, oh shit, I can do this, so I think that's the power. Everything that we're doing, we're sending signals to people saying, of them thinking, can I do this or can I not do this? So that's why it's essential to make this easy and simple. And so awesome stuff. Okay, so next question here. There's, because you were the fastest to hit max out under the age of 30, and with all the momentum going on in Isogenics right now, it's easy to, when people go moving really, really fast, it's easy for people to compare themselves to other people, and easy to think, well, if I don't hit 6 figures in my first 6 months, then somehow I'm a failure. And that, of course, is not true at all. Everybody's on their own journey. We always talk about all the time that, comparing we don't ever want to get into comparison mode. But people do it. And so what, if there's one thing that you could kind of, if somebody's looking to really speed up and start earning money quickly and make money fast and amplify things in their business, what would you say the biggest thing was for you on, going from 0 to maxing out in 12 months that really enabled all that speed to happen?
Wow, that's such a tough question. It would need a 20-hour. No, it wouldn't need a 20-hour. But there's a lot had to happen. Like, there was a massive journey and everything like that. Speaking on comparison, I know one of the things that helped me was I stopped comparing. And at the start, hopefully people know on the call who Brett and Sammy was. And I was comparing myself to Brett and Sammy, which was a death sentence, because they're just incredible. But I couldn't help it, because we lived in the same town. I think I started 1 or 2 months before. We were both into CrossFit. Like, they owned a CrossFit gym. I did CrossFit. So we were kind of in the same team at the end of the day with Jen and Jono and Take Action Team, all that. So even at the start, I was comparing myself, and it really took me out of the game because it just took away. I didn't even appreciate what I was doing because I was just looking at Brett and Sammy. And I'm sure they compare themselves to someone. Everyone does it. But the key is to stop doing it, I think. So that helped a lot. My speed, it took me, I didn't even become a Crystal executive, it took me 7 months. So I still know that's still awesome. But it wasn't like I went executive 2 months and then went on. But what did I do? At the end of the day, it all comes down to how many people you talk to.
Yeah.
And for me, we have amazing people in our team and leaders and things like that. But so Alan and I think we'll talk about Alan and I a little bit later, but they're at 7-star now in like quicker than I got to it, I'm pretty sure. But if I knew exactly how to get them there, I'd do it with everyone. But same thing, it's not about me, it's about them. So what I did, I think I got really good at giving everyone the foundation. I'm wrapping up to my answer. I'm still just trying to think of what my answer is. I think...
No, it's good. I mean, I love what you're saying about, you got caught in the comparison. One of the things that freed you and allowed you to move quickly was that you kind of relinquished this whole comparison thing. I think that's huge. I mean, it's just, as soon as you kind of gave yourself permission saying, hey, I don't need to compare myself to Brett and Sammy. I'm on my own journey. That I think probably took a lot of pressure off yourself, freed you up. I think that's big. And then the conversations piece, obviously, in order to max out in 12 months, you're going to have to talk to a lot of people. And it sounds like you did that.
Yeah. And with one more with comparison, how I got over that is I noticed that I was only comparing with things that would make me feel better. Like, oh, they own a gym, or there's 2 of them and only 1 of me, and things like that. Like I was picking and choosing. But I wasn't saying, well, they've got 5 kids and I've got none. And or they've got a business, which means they have to spend all this time away from Isogenics investing in that and things like that. And I realized that I wasn't even comparing, because I wasn't comparing to the real picture. I was just picking and choosing these little tidbits.
Right.
So yeah, that's what helped me stop comparing. I had something really good and then I went there.
Let's talk about Alan and Laurie, because you enrolled Alan and Laurie Hilsinger, who are now 7-star Golden Circles. They're obviously on fire right now. But I know we were talking before the call, and you mentioned to me that they started out and they were product users. They were product users for a long time, and there's so many people that in Isogenics that just start out as product users because they just want the products. They want nothing to do with the business, but then they turn out to be rock stars, and they just build this massive network marketing business, and they become Isogenics millionaires. That's how a lot of the stories start out.
Yeah.
So what was it that when you enrolled Alan and Laurie, they just wanted the products? Was there anything that you did to really empower them to step into the business? Because there's a lot of people that say, well, how do I ignite a product user into a business builder? Tell us that story.
Yeah. So I played basketball, and Alan was the CEO of Gold Coast Basketball over here. And so I knew Alan, but I didn't know him either. Like, we were Facebook friends, but like I wouldn't call him a friend really, or I wouldn't invite him to my birthday party or anything like that. So how the story goes, because I was so consistent with Facebook and posting before and afters, Laurie was actually on Alan's Facebook. I don't know, because she was like going through his things, I guess. And she saw me posting before and afters. Or no, the way she saw these girls like in their bikinis because it's their before and after.
Right.
And she's like, what is this? And then she looks into it, and she saw I'd been posting a few of them. And so because Lyra was on Alan's computer, she was the one that said, Alan, you've got to go speak to this Jackson guy, because I think she'd lost like 1 kilo in 2 years or something like that. So told Alan what it was, same thing, money back guarantee. They said, what the hell, because Larry's been trying everything and she can't get results. So they did it. Their first 30 days, I think they lost 16 kilos together. So I think one of them lost 8 and one of them lost 7, or around that ballpark. And they were just loving it. And then so the next month they wanted to keep going. So they did enroll Alan's sister and mum, but not for the biz, just purely because they loved how they were feeling so much that, of course, it was natural that they wanted their family to. And they didn't even know they'd enrolled them. They said, hey, can we help my mum and my sister start? I said, no worries, I'll speak to them. And then when I got their details, I enrolled them through Alan's account.
Yeah.
And so the next month, there was like their before and afters were out of this world. And I went to Alan and I said, mate, you have to, but they never shared it with anyone. They sent me the photos like in a text and said, just want to say thank you so much. You won't understand how much this has changed our lives. Here are our results. And it was like kind of like for your eyes only kind of thing.
Yeah.
And of course, my mind just went, like my eyes went to dollar signs. I was like, wow, this would be massive. So I went to Alan, mate, you have to post these before and afters. And he's like, no, I don't want to, no way. I just want to show them and say thank you. I said, mate, do you know how much money you could make if you shared these and helped people get started? And he was like, we're not interested, but good luck with it anyway. We're just happy to use the products. And I said, mate, you wouldn't have to pay for your products for like 6 months with the amount of money I could help you make. And they were like, oh, we're happy to pay for the products. They're awesome. We're ISA for life. And I wasn't getting through to them. And so I took a step back. I was like, well, obviously I'm not hitting their why, or I'm not hitting that button. And so I thought about it a little bit, and I went back to Alan and I said, hey, Al, are you happy I shared this with you? And he was like, oh, we can't explain. It's the best thing ever. Our lives have changed forever. I said, well, how would you feel if I kept this a secret from you and didn't tell you about it? And he was like, oh. And I think he caught on what I was doing to him, basically, because I said, well, that's what you're doing to all your friends and family if you don't get over yourself and share your results. And after that conversation, it was like a minute later, boom, it was up on Facebook. And it was because for them, it was nothing to do about money. It was all to do about helping people. So, so it's a good lesson that you've got to find out what motivates people, because there'll be some people where if I would have said that, they'd be like, I don't want to help my family. You know what I mean? But if I would have brought up the money, they would have been all in. So it's all about finding what makes people tick. And so that's how I got them open to the business, I guess. And then I think it was within that month, Celebration was here. And I begged and pleaded for them to come. And I kind of said, the language was, look, just invest this weekend and you're either going to know if this is all for you, if this is it, or you're going to know, no, we're not going to waste our time with it. And I think they were only planning to come the first day. And of course, once they saw you and Jim and Kathy and all that, they stayed the whole weekend, and the rest is history.
I mean, that is the best story, man. I love that question that you said about, are you happy that I shared this with you? Yeah, it's changed, it's changed my life. Well, how would you feel if I never shared it with you? And then you say, do you realize you're doing that with, you realize you're keeping this a secret with everybody that you could potentially, have an impact in their life. I think that is a big, that's an amazing question to ask people, to be blunt with people. And then obviously plugging them into an event. And we all know the power of events is critical. So huge takeaway there. I love that. So, okay. So moving on here, we've been hearing a lot about, and one thing that we're really uniting around in Isogenics is, and one of the things we've always really prided ourselves in is our culture. And that's I think that's really the glue and the magnet that really attracts everybody. And, because we're really unifying everyone amongst one remarkable team. And you've been seeing everybody, hashtagging unity, hashtagging one team, regardless of financial links, everybody's kind of coming together to unify as one. And so what does that really I know that's been a big thing for you. What does unity and one team really symbolize? And what does that mean to you?
Unity in one team. What does that mean to me? I guess little things that's, like open opportunity meetings and all that kind of stuff. But I guess, or just for me personally, to me, it makes me think abundance, not scarcity. And it just makes me think around that, because if there was no culture of, one team and unity and all that, well, the opposite is we're against each other. And why are we against each other? Because there's only this amount of people in the world, and I need to speak to them before Emily and Hayden speak to them, for example. And so when I think of that, unity and one team, it makes me, it's all around that scarcity and abundance. So we're one team and we can help each other, and you can bring your people to my opportunity meeting, for example, because there is so many people in the world that, if you bring 10 people to my opportunity meeting and I help you enroll all of them, then that's awesome, because there's so many people out there that we can both achieve everything we want to in this business. So that's what I think of it as. And then that trickles down to the little things we do, like, even something like this. Like if the culture of Isogenics was a scarcity mentality, I wouldn't do a call like this, because I just do this for my team. But because of the culture, and I know PK is a huge driver, if that's the right word, but because there's an abundance and things like that, then I'm more than happy to try and help everyone in Isogenics. And not just me, I mean, everyone is that way. And it's awesome because it's a lot of fun, I guess. And when people are having fun and there's no stress and there's joy, then everything runs smoothly. But yeah, to me, that's what one team unity is. It's blocking out that scarcity mentality that, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure it's in a lot of other network marketing companies where they have to quote unquote compete within each other, yet alone other companies. So, but in Isogenics, it's not the case at all, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, good. Love that what you said about just, you're able to really expand your reach. And if everybody's going after the same thing, and, you're able to, there's no limit on the amount of lives that you can impact with unified one team approach. I think it's beautiful. So thanks for that. And so the final question is, you've been doing this for like 20 months now, as you said. If somebody were to come up to you and say, Jackson, you need to know this going into these next 20 months, what would that one thing be that you wish somebody would have whispered in your ear, saying that something that you've learned along the way that you wish you would have known when you started?
So I have to say one. To me, that question, because I hear that question a lot, and I always think the one thing I would say is the power of events, because to me that's cheating a little bit, because it's like getting a wish from a genie and your wish is more wishes. Because to me that's how I see events, because it teaches you so many things that, if I could go back to, Jackson 20 months ago, and the only thing I could tell me was get to every event. Like, your mission in life is to get to every event you possibly can and bring as many people as you can. I know I'd be, in the same position, or maybe it would have taken me another X amount of time, but that doesn't matter, because I still would have gotten here because of the events. So to me, nothing can beat the events, because they teach you everything.
I think that's the most important thing. I mean, if
do you?
I do. I mean, I think that, if there were, I think everybody should, we should all be building into events. I mean, 90 days out, and like 90 days out it really is the celebration coming up in San Diego. And it's kind of like if everybody, or if, let's say if there's a ICU, I know they just wrapped up one in Perth, but like, let's say there's an ICU coming up in the next 90 days somewhere in Australia or somewhere in the US. There's nothing that anybody did. If we just focused on getting as many people as we could to that event and nothing else, that was our main focus, and we were able to get, 5, 10, 15, 20 people to that event, what would come out of that event would be explosive. It would change everything for us. So, it's always the answer when people share their story. It's like, yeah, I got a great product result and I started dabbling in the business, but then I came to an event and I caught the vision and everything changed for me. Same thing you said happened to Alan and Laurie.
So quick story. I was in New Zealand last week, and David Wood this weekend is doing his first event ever in New Zealand. His UIA. Yeah. So I went down there and no one in my team was going. And I was like, I wanted to cry. I'm like, what do you mean? Because, we don't live in Auckland and it's really expensive, blah, 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 blah. So, end story now, we've got 17 people going there to this event.
Wow. But
the conversation I had with them, and this is what I try and have with a lot of people, if money is a big motivator to them, and for most people it is, because it's not about the money, but it's what the money can, provide you. Right. So I always say, and it's something I ask myself, because there's sometimes I don't feel like going to an event, but I always ask myself, and now I'm starting to ask other people, if someone was going to hand you $100,000 in cash when you rocked up to this event, would you go? And if the answer is yes, then you should go. And if the answer is no, then that's a real reason not to go. So everyone says they have reasons why they can't get there. Yeah. Or, what's a horrible example? If my birthday was on the event, would I skip my birthday party if I knew someone was going to give me $100,000? Yes. Exactly. So that's the answer. If if it was someone's funeral, for example, like my dad's, it's horrible to say, knock on wood, but would I give up $100,000 to go to my dad's funeral? Of course I would. So that, to me, that's how I know it's a real reason not to go. And because at the end of the day, if you're not going to this event, you really are leaving that money on the table, because what you learn at these events teaches you how to make that yearly. Yeah. So that's a good question I ask myself and my team, just to really cut the bullshit kind of, well, can I swear on here? Sorry.
It's the start group. It's all good.
It's a start group. Because some people get confused about what a real reason is, like a real excuse is, and what a not so good excuse is. So when I went to New Zealand, was asking people like that, then it helped them understand that what they thought was holding them back from getting there wasn't really that big of an issue.
Yeah.
So yeah, events. I'm glad you think events are number one as well, because that's what I think it is.
Awesome, man. Well, I just this has been an amazing chat we've had, and so much gold and all the stories you've told, and you know, we can all learn so much from your journey and what you've been through, and just good stuff. And I'm not sure, have you seen the new Start video yet? Little RockStar in that bad boy? Kidding me? Starting off the whole thing?
Oh my! It's like, it's that horrible feeling when you hear your own voicemail message and you're like, God, is that what I sound like? Yeah, but it's awesome. Apart from that, it's freaking awesome video.
Well, you're awesome in it. You're awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
representing Australia in that bad boy.
Yep. Well, I love to. Before we go, I just want to say, I know you probably get sick of me thanking you for everything you do, but I never want, anytime I speak with you, I never want there to be a moment where I'm not making you aware of how thankful I am for what you and your parents have done for me and for everyone, all the people I love and care about. So every time I see you, I just need to say thank you so much. There's no way you'll ever understand what you guys have done for me. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks so much, man. Well, it's your humble leadership and you're just who you are is just an amazing thing, and you inspire me every day. And I know I can speak for thousands of people on the Start page and all of Isogenics. I mean, you and your story and how real you are just gives permission to just be themselves and just rock it out. And I don't know if you know how powerful you really are, and it's cool. It's cool to watch though. So anyway, want to thank everybody for tuning into the Start chat. We will, or the Start talk. We will see you next month. Stay tuned for the next person we'll be featuring, or maybe people. They have another panel, but we're going to post this recording here soon. So if you weren't able to watch live, you can watch on the YouTube channel. If you just type in Start Talk with Jackson RockStar Parr, you'll be able to find it. We'll post this bad boy up on the Start group. So thanks everyone for watching.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks to everyone.